Hello, this is Timo Trainer. Welcome to my channel. This video is an absolute beginner's guide to League of Legends, part 1. The part 2 will be linked in the description or on the video. Alright, enjoy. What we have here is you have your summoner icon with your summoner level. When you click your summoner icon, you can change it based upon what is available at the moment. It changes over time. I mean, when there are certain events on, they will have different ones out, and you keep them if you're using it. But as soon as you change it, you will lose that icon. Your summoner name will be here, your riot points and influence points. Riot points are the points you have to pay for, and influence points are points you get from winning games. You can buy champions the same as with riot points, but you can't buy skins. You need to pay for that. This is your edit summoner profile button, or edit and view, and you get to view things such as, when it loads, just your general profile, like takedowns, like that's how many kills you've gotten, monster and minion kills, wins. I'm sure you could read this, but it shows you different things, just like your leagues, match history. Mine has not been that good recently. The champions you own, or just all champions, with the ones that you own as well. I don't own too many, but I own enough for myself. You get your rune pages, where you can buy and implement runes. Runes you can buy at certain levels, but I would not recommend buying it before you're level 20, because you don't have very many rune slots, and the runes you get aren't very good. Masteries, this is an important page. These are like, every time you level up your summoner level, you get little tiny bonuses, but they really do reflect in the game when you get a lot of them. Spells, these are just your summoner spells. I think past 12, is it? Yeah, past 12 you have them all anyway. These are just spells that you have always, but they have like a 300-second cooldown. And yeah, just thought I'd explain that. You only get to choose 2 when you play a game. Alright, you get to browse the store, but browsing store is quite easy, so I won't really explain that. And you get to learn about the lore, which is just the background story to League of Legends and their champions. Help section, and just your preferences. If you click here, you go back to the original screen. So yeah, if you click there, you get your friends lists. I should probably minimize that. This comes with adding, searching, and making folders. You can go to channels to try and talk about strategies and that, and you can view your notifications. That's just like if you've been invited to a game and you missed the pop-up, you can go to notifications, click it, and then accept or decline. Right, now to actually play a game, you click the big play button here. When I first started playing, I got a bit confused with this. Right, most people play Classic because it's just, in my opinion, the better one. It's like the original game. Most people play Summoner's Rift, but there's a 3v3 Twisted Tree Line. It's a quicker game to play, but it's harder to get used to. Right, there's the normal blind pick, which is just standalone one that you will be using. You can go to solo, which is without any friends, and you just want to match yourself with teammates, or you can have a party, which obviously you get to choose your friends. You don't have to have a full party. You can have 1 or 2. Oh, sorry, you can have 2 or 3, and just click play. You have to be certain levels to use the normal draft picks, or for the draft picks even. For the ranked, you have to be level 30 or over. Twisted Tree Line, it's just the same, just with less people. And Dominion is sort of like Capture the Flag. Well, not Capture the Flag, it's more like King of the Hill.
You just have to capture points and keep them for as long as possible until you get until your score countdowns to 0, or you run out of time. I don't think you can run out of time actually. Anyway, this is a very good game if you want to do a really quick game, but again, I think it's rather sucky in comparison to the regular type of game. There is another available option is if you don't want to go against real people, you can go against bots, but you can go with a team of online people. That's co-op versus AI. So you can have a normal team, so a team of 5, and go against beginner difficulty. And this is the only way you can actually go against the intermediate difficulty. I'm not sure why, but I think it's just because they want people to be playing online with other people for harder difficulties in training. I think it just makes it easier to see, tell if people are trying to cheat. Well, not cheat, but like use bots to get all the IP, because I think the higher difficulty you do it, the more IP you get after it. You can do custom games, which opens up to a 1v1 map as well. I'm not sure what tournament code does, but anyway. Well, you get your tutorials here, which I always find a bit boring. I always just dive in and just, even if I'm a noob, I just dive in, do what I can. Even if I die horribly, sort of build you up better than playing a tutorial. Okay, so you just click solo and it automatically puts you in a queue. You just have to wait. It says approximately 1 minute and 8 seconds, but a lot of the time you'll get it after 30 seconds or a little less than that time. I'm going to exit now. Yeah, it'll come up with a pop-up and you just click accept or decline. Right. To start off with explaining how to choose a champion, I shall explain what different types of champions there are. So I should change it to all available. Okay. So let's start off with your ranged. They're people who shoot and have a certain distance between or for their basic attacks. And you have your melee. Ooh, these are people who hit with their weapon or with their hands. Okay, you can have different types of each. It's not really specific, but I shall go on about, let's say, junglers or support or assassins. Okay, so firstly I'll go for the tanks. Tanks are champions even with a lot of health or a lot of armor. Let's go to Rammus. Okay, so Rammus has a lot of health. You can't really tell how much armor he has, but he is just a tank. It is under his attributes. But tanks are people who will just be taking a lot of damage and will sort of be a meat shield for everyone else. So whilst they're taking damage, the people who are on their team who can do a lot of damage will sort of stay behind the tank and do damage to the people attacking, or who they're attacking. Okay, a carry is basically just someone who has a lot of damage and is going to carry the game. These are more late game characters rather than early game, but they're sort of very consistent with how they play. They can either be very good or very bad in the game. But as a carry, you want to do a lot of damage and make sure that you don't get killed too often because you're trying to carry the game. Carrying the game consists of killing the other champions and pushing your lane. I shall explain pushing lanes later. Well, you get to your assassins. These are people who pick up kills after a team fight. They should really stay out of team fights, but a lot of people do go in with, for the team fights as well, just for the extra damage. But they try and pick people off individually after they've lost a lot of health. So these are people that generally have a lot of running speed or a lot of stealth, things like that. Okay, there's your support. People who are support are people that generally can heal or have stuns or have buffs or shields that they can put on other people. But it's not limited to that. I mean, for instance, Teemo. The only reason he is a support is just because he has... how to put it? He has a lot of damage, but all his ultimates use mushrooms. Mushrooms are basically wards. Again, I'll explain wards later in the game. And all support should use wards, but Teemo is a support because he has inbuilt wards. Okay. Well, obviously, mage is really self-explanatory, fighter, but I should now go on to jungle. Okay, a jungler is someone that's not staying in lanes or using lanes to level up. It's actually using the little jungle bit between the lanes that have a couple of creatures in it. This is useful because when there are two people on bottom, they have split XP between them both. But if you notice, the middle character, again, I'll explain all this later, the middle character will have more XP coming into them. It's because it's not split. So the way they get more XP for the whole team is they let the bottom have 2, the middle have 1, and the top have 1 as well. So the top and the middle will level at the same rate. Anyway, pushers, finally, are the characters that try and push your lane. You'll get to the turret, and they'll try and destroy the turret. But they can be a bit lacking in team fights. But again, some are very good. For instance, Ziggs. Ziggs is probably one of my favourite for team fights because he has so much AoE damage. I'll explain that later. Anyway, this is enough for champions. If you want to select a champion, sorry, it's not enough for champions. Selecting champions now. Well, it's really personal preference. A lot of when you start, you don't really have very much choice. You only have the choice of the availables. But they try and make it so there's always they try and make it so there's a free character in most attributes. So, for instance, if you wanted to be a person who was mage, a ranged mage, well, all mages are ranged really, that, for instance, did laser damage. That's all I can think of. You'd think Victor. He has a huge laser on him. But it is, again, really down to personal preference. If you want to be a tank, you just click tank and think, the available ones, or you can read into it, look at their abilities, and see what they do. But if you ever need help with choosing a tank, I would just recommend playing custom games or private games where you just go against bots and just test them out. That's how I always tested out my characters. Anyway, thank you for watching. Link to part 2 is in the description. Please like, share and subscribe. Again, thank you for watching and see you soon.